Good evening, and thanks for coming to our community planning and information meeting on tonight, November the 13th at 6 p.m. I would like to start off with some introductions. We are your planning and zoning staff here at the City of Stonecrest. I am Ramona Eversley, your senior planner. Up next to me, I have our planner, Ms. Felicia Blair. Across from me, I have our deputy director, Mr. Ellis Steele, and our director, Ms. Shawana Cowie. The CPIM is an informational meeting that allows staff and applicants to inform the public of upcoming developments or projects. This meeting also allows the citizens, business owners, and developers of Stonecrest opportunities to review all petitions, ask questions of all applicants, and express any preliminary concerns. This is also an opportunity to bridge the relationship between developers and residents and staff. The community planning information meeting occurs every second Thursday of each month. A meeting decorum. Please be respectful to applicants, citizens, and staff. Keep questions, comments, and/or concerns relevant to the agenda items. Please wait to ask questions after the applicant has concluded presenting their petition. Each citizen or resident will have a minimum of 3 minutes to ask his or her questions or make a statement. We ask that you please fill out the comment cards if you would like to make a comment. On tonight's agenda, we have 7 items. With our first one, RZ 25-004. The petitioner is David M. Miles Construction Incorporated. The location is 2374 Cove Lake Road, and the request is for a rezoning and map amendment of the parcel from MR1 medium density residential to MR2 medium density residential for a proposed townhome development.
Good evening. Good evening, Michelle Battle with Battle Law. You're representing the applicant with. Screen. I don't think you all want to see me. Here we go. So we've been here before discussing this project at 2374 Cove Lake. We are seeking a rezoning from MR1 to MR2 for a change of condition for a project that had originally been approved by unincorporated DeKalb County. This is the location of the property off of Cove Lake Road, near the or adjacent to the Southeastern Athletic Complex and across from Wellborn and Covington Highway. The property is currently zoned MR1, and we are seeking, again, to rezone the property to MR2, which would be consistent with the current land use for the property. Back in 2007, I had the fortune of working on this project where we worked very diligently with the Cove Lake community for a rezoning to RM 100 for a maximum of 63 fee simple townhome units. Since that time, the city was incorporated, and additionally, the RM zoning district was actually discontinued. RM 100 became MR 1. And one of the things that transpired was that on the plan that was originally proposed, the width of each unit was roughly 20 feet in width. And when the MR1 zoning district was adopted, it has now a minimum width of 25 feet for each unit. Most builders don't actually build in odd numbers from width perspective. They're either 20, 22, 24, 26. We are not able to do the 26-foot width unit, as that would significantly impact our density. And so we are seeking a rezoning to the MR2 zoning district, which allows for a minimum width of 20 feet. And with that 20 feet, we are actually proposing a 22-foot wide unit. We've had the opportunity to meet with the community, also with the community's homeowners association. And with that, we have made a couple of modifications to the site plan. Um, Probably the most prevalent is that based on some comments we actually received from the DeKalb County Fire Marshal, we have now added 23 visitor parking spaces, which you can see in the green on the plan in front of you. We do point out that we are maintaining the 50-foot transitional buffer along the southern boundary of the property adjacent to the existing homes in the Cove Lake residential subdivision. We also have the 50-foot buffer along the park side of the property, and we are proposing amenities including a walking trail throughout the community, and also the dog park that you see here is actually going to be transformed into a tot lot instead. We do have underground detention, and all of these units are rear entry, which is why you see the alley. So these will be front entry units, rear entry units, so that when you're walking throughout the community, there will be sidewalks in front and there will be no parking on the street. And each unit will have a one-car garage with a pad in front. These are some representative elevations of what we'd be looking to build, and you can see here with no garage entrance on the front that this is what the units will look like. One of the things that we have done, as I mentioned, is met with the HOA for Cove Lake. One of the things that we discussed was redoing their existing sign entrances off on either side. You can see the pillars that they currently have. We are proposing and have given them a proposal for the monument sign that you see here, where it would identify simply the Cove Lake community, and then we would be the park at Cove Lake. In terms of conditions, we would like to propose the following. One, there will be a mandatory HOA, which will be formed prior to the units being sold. The dog park will be converted into a tot lot. The developer shall install a new lighted monument entrance sign covering both communities. The name of the townhome community will be the Park at Cove Lake. The HOA will share in the costs for the maintenance of the existing flock camera and for the maintenance of the entrance sign and landscaping along Cove Lake, which will benefit both communities. Enter into a zoning agreement with the community, which will allow the community to enforce the agreed conditions, with the agreement being read into the minutes if it is so approved by City Council. That all units will either be sprinkled or have a 2-hour firewall installed as required by the DeKalb County Fire Marshal, and that a traffic study will be completed to the city and submitted to the city simultaneously with the preliminary plat application, and all project-related recommendations shall be addressed by the applicant or developer. And I think that is all that I have. Oh, we are having an upcoming meeting. We have proposed meeting again with the Cove Lake HOA board to go over the proposed zoning agreement, which was emailed to them last week on November 7th, and that there will be a Zoom meeting we will be holding on December 1st. That was the date that the HOA agreed on with the entire community prior to the Planning Commission meeting. And that notices for that will be sent out next week with a Zoom link. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Now we're going to allow for the public to speak. Please remember that each person is given 3 minutes to speak. Only the applicant can return to respond. Is there anyone that wishes to speak in opposition or for the agenda item RZ 25-004? Yes, please. To the mic.
This is in Council Member Fay's district. Fay's district.
District 4.
Yes,
How many units is it?
district. That's district.
Okay,
District 2.
Okay, yeah, Terry Fry.
Yes,
How many units is it?
63.
It sounds like there are existing units already. And is this in addition?
So there's an existing single-family detached community. These would be townhome units. Again, this was approved back in 2007, but it was never built out. And so we are coming back now trying to build it out. And there were 63 units then and there's 63 units now.
So what's the difference between then and now?
The width of the unit. Well, the requirement in the ordinance is the difference. The difference, I guess, technically in our site plan is that those units in 2007 were 20 feet wide. We've actually increased them to 22 feet wide. But what has happened is the code changed. So when it was originally approved, 20 feet wide was acceptable. But now the code that was adopted by the city requires a 25-foot wide lot. So we are asking for a rezoning so that we can go to a 22-foot lot.
Are you building for investors or new
No,
homeowners?
these will be fee simple units and we are fine with having a rental restriction on it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak for or against? Thank you so much. Please state your name.
My name is Faye Cofield, and are these going to be on individual water meters or one water meter?
Individual.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next meeting for this applicant will be the Planning Commission, December the 2nd of 2025. Mayor and City Council, December 18th, 2025. Moving on to the next item on our agenda, it's petition RZ 25-006, Ramata Cisco Cease. The address is 7511 Covington Highway. The request is for a rezoning and map amendment of the parcel from R75 residential medium lot to C1 local commercial for a proposed hair salon and boutique. And there's another petition for RZ 25-007, Ramata Cisco Cease at 6760 Chup Road. The request is for a rezoning map and amendment of the parcel from R75 residential medium lot to C1 commercial for a proposed hair salon and boutique. Is the applicant here tonight? Okay, thank you.
My name is CA Nation, and I live at 6722 Cup Road. This is the fourth time this has been scheduled for debate, and she has not showed up. I want to go on record now being opposition, strong opposition. I hope no hanky-panky is going on, and this don't get slipped up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item on our agenda for tonight. It's SDP 24-004. Briogain Fondavila of VHB. The address is 6750 Stonecrest Industrial Way, The petitioner is seeking approval for a preliminary plat for a proposed logistics center. Is the applicant here tonight?
Hello. Nick Faber. I'm with the, on behalf of the applicant. We do not have a presentation. This is simply a subdivision, preliminary subdivision plat. Nothing is changing with the project from the original approvals. We're just taking it from one parcel to three. That's it. Questions? Any questions? Oh, sorry. I don't have a formal presentation. We are just requesting a preliminary subdivision plat. So nothing with the project has changed. It's just taking it from one large parcel to three smaller parcels. That's it.
Please state your name.
My name is Kim James, and I'm looking at this and it says preliminary plat for proposed logistics center. And I guess I'd like to know where it's gonna be. I'd like to know how far you're coming up. Grant you, I'm DeKalb County, Cochran Johnson, and I want to know how far you're coming up because when I first purchased my home, that was 10 miles of green space. When DeKalb sold it to Stonecrest, they didn't notify us that it was no longer going to be no longer going to be an area that could not be developed. Now you're telling us you want to develop that. I'd like to know how far you're coming up because my home is the last home next door to all of that. So I really would like to know or see something, or you guys show us somewhere you're talking about.
So this was, we bought the property years ago and we went through the entire rezoning process and had tons of community meetings. So the only request we have today is to take it from one parcel to three parcels. So do you guys have you don't have a site plan, do you? Our request is not, we're not requesting to build the logistics center. That's already been approved over 2.5 years ago.
Right. Where is it going to be?
So do you know where the Home Depot and Pepsi distribution centers are?
Now,
Directly behind that. It's all industrial zone land and has been for the last 40, 50 years.
okay. I'm just concerned mainly because I did not want it coming up so far. I think I'm in the clear as far as being in DeKalb, but there's so many children in that area. Just don't want it to affect the children. I know you guys were there because we saw you survey it, but you know, I just want to know exactly where you're going to be.
Sure.
That's all.
If you had a map on here, I could show you.
Great.
I don't know if you guys do or not. Google Earth. Can I show you on the map? So see the cursor? This is Home Depot distribution center, warehouse building, Lithonia Industrial Boulevard. It doesn't show it here, but there is a Pepsi distribution center right here that exists today. And then this Stonecrest Industrial Boulevard runs right here. This will be the only access, and it's this property here. There is sorry, got it. There's buffers, Swift Creek. We're not on the other side of Swift Creek. We're all on the, there you go. Sorry. Coffee Road is not an access. That Coffee Road this map system is old. Coffee Road was stopped right about where my cursor is. This cul-de-sac services the property. Actually, this cul-de-sac will be moved like 20 feet onto the property. And then, shoot, went the wrong way. Building here, building here, building here. There's a Swift Creek here. There's a big green space that's staying. So everything for this. Sure.
Just for the record, usually these community planning information meetings are the one-on-one meetings with the applicant. and the public, but we're going to assist tonight because you are asking those questions. So we're going to pull them up from the records that we do have. Yes, sir.
Yes, good evening. I'm Ellis Woodall, and I'd like to echo what this lady had to say that I live in unincorporated DeKalb at the boundary of this.
State your name.
This is the first we've been notified of any activity in the area. And we just kind of trying to find out exactly where and how we'll be impacted. Okay. Got it.
My question is a little bit different than everybody else's, because I thought this was a meeting where we were going to see what they were planning to do. Now you come here and you say you didn't bring anything, but from the looks of that map you have there are houses in back of that. You're talking about building a logistics center. And to me, correct me if I'm wrong, a logistics center is where trucks come in and they fill themselves up with product and they leave. Now, Lithonia Industrial Boulevard, the extension of it was built for there to be on Lithonia Industrial. But it looks like you're getting very close to the houses that are in back. And these truck centers, they make a lot of noise. You know, trucks make noise. I live in Chaparral, and I can hear the traffic running on the freeway. So I can only imagine what people are going to hear that live close to it. And I think it's kind of disrespectful for you to come here and to not have the pictures to show us exactly how it's going to look and exactly how it's going to impact the back of these homes.
Ma'am, I met you 2 years ago. We went through this entire process.
Well, let's go through it again tonight.
So that's not what we're here for. We're here for a subdivision plat. Everything you're asking for has already been addressed. And I'm sure you're very well aware of that we increased buffers around the entire property to address all of your concerns.
Well, obviously, you know, and
We're not here to request to build the property. That's already been approved. All we're here is to subdivide the property.
but you're changing something.
We're not changing anything except for the property lines inside of the property. Nothing has changed.
Yeah, okay.
That's why it's a subdivision plat. We addressed every single one of your comments the last time you were here, and we did it in a very satisfactory way. We beefed up a ton of buffers.
Just one last thing. You know, noise patterns change, land changes. You know, if you would have done this 2 or 3 years ago when it was approved then, we would have been in a.
It's still approved.
Well, okay, I understand that. We would have been in a different place. But it seems like, you know, it seems to me you're changing something because you.
Is that all 3 of them or not? Not changing anything, but I appreciate your commentary. Yes. We would, sure, but it's an administrative process. Ma'am, I'm not trying to argue. We pulled up the information for you.
Hold on. Hold on, yeah. Hold on.
So if you're trying to change something, so if they don't agree with your change, what will happen? That's the question.
Nothing. It'll be 1 parcel with 3 buildings on it instead of 3 buildings on 3 parcels. Nothing will change. From your perspective, from our perspective, it would be a little bit different, but is there a way to show this all in one? Go ahead.
Please state your name.
Renee Kale. From an environmental perspective, with homes being pretty close to this proposed logistics center, how many diesel trucks will be coming in and out? Because we're concerned about emissions, diesel emissions that are very, very dangerous. And what will be in these warehouses? What is going to be shipped back and forth?
So That depends. For example, Home Depot has wood and other building products. Pepsi has a lot of beverages and other things. Many trucks. Every building is completely different. We have buildings that are 1 million square feet that have 5 trucks a day. We have 25,000 square foot buildings that have 50 trucks a day. Every use is very unique to the users that are in there. So it's just when we go through this approval process, which we did 2 years ago, we went through a development of regional impact study, which takes traffic studies and provided all of that information at that time. And we're required, based on the zoning of the property, to make any modifications to intersections nearby. And we followed every single thing that we were supposed to. I'm not sure an environmental impact study was required, but we did everything that we were required to do for the approval. Again, this is already approved and complete for the project. What we're doing is we're subdividing the project because there's 3 buildings into 3 different parcels. The rows, the buildings, everything is exactly the same. Because in the city of Stonecrest, a subdivision plat requires a public process. Most other communities, it's just administrative. Yes.
Adonna Priest Brown. So from my observation, the young gentleman had a notification. I guess he got some notification. Correct, sir? Right, and you just recently received that? So what that tells me, so with the initial request that came 2.5 years ago, you usually notify 100, within a certain mile radius of the property about a rezoning request. So what is this notification?
I'm not sure what he has, but
this is a new notification. It should have just been one notification for this entire project.
so
correct?
what happens is when you acquire the property, you have to do there was 5
I'm
5
gonna
or 6.
answer that
Oh.
for you, so we
Go
can
ahead.
be consistent. Any public change in the city of Stonecrest ordinance, when there's a major plat
Mhm.
that is to be approved, that needs to go before public. It's a notification process, and that's why we're here.
So that's
Now-
why,
Yes, ma'am.
so that's why we needed photos. So I'm just saying, because if you had the original meeting, you had all the presentations, with all the elevations.
During the
and-
rezoning process.
So then the plaque process, there are no elevations or renderings.
Not during the rezoning process, unless they're building, like the previous project was, the elevations were shown because of the homes that they're actually going to be, that are going to be built. So we showed those elevations, the lot sizes, the zoning, setbacks, and whether there's transitional buffers. In the previous applicant, the representation did state that. This is actually in industrial zoning, but it is still 3 or more plats, 3 or more lots that are established must go through the public hearing process. And that's why we're here to do the public hearing process. It's almost like a notification. The immediate process of knowing that we're going to change from one zoning to another, we'll have, again, public input. But because the city of Stonecrest ordinance says 3+ parcels that are divided, because right now it's one parcel, but since they're requesting to divide it into 3 parcels, you must just go before this public hearing. And it was a development of regional impact because each individual structure that is proposed to be built, it's over a certain square footage. So a development of regional impact must go through the Atlanta Regional Commission and have input around through the surrounding jurisdictions. Of course, as he said, it happened 2 years ago, the initial development of regional impact. But we, staff, did reach out to the Atlanta Regional Commission to understand that that same decision that they made 2 years ago, we wanted to make sure that it stands today, and they gave us the same feedback.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think that's why people are confused, because it would have been good to give a backstory,
I'm sorry.
is all I'm saying.
Thank you. I
Sure.
hope
That's
that,
it.
Probably
I
could've
hope
done
that
that.
helps just a little bit.
Apologies.
But we're gonna allow, I think the first representative had a question. She wanted to actually see what the 3 parcels were gonna look like, and we found that for you.
Yeah,
So that's
sure.
already-
It's going to be hard to, how do I go back to the other just to give you an idea of, so Stonecrest Industrial Way, I don't know if I can see, there's my cursor, where I showed you on the map. So this is the cul-de-sac, Stonecrest Industrial Way. This is the only access. No cars, no trucks go anywhere near any houses. It's all through the industrial road that was extended. And if we were to go over here, this is where the Pepsi approximately building is. Pepsi building is approximately located. And then the Home Depot would be on the south side, kind of under the TV. So the two front buildings are already existing and operational. We're taking that road. Our vehicles, cars and trucks will go past those two industrial buildings onto this industrial site. And they will, you've got a building here. Swift Creek, I mentioned that on the map. Nothing goes past Swift Creek. So is the arrow not working? No. I'm just showing where my cursor is. This is Swift Creek. So there's a huge buffer and greens. It's hard to, can you see my? Oh, yeah. That's why I forgot I had the mic. Sorry. So Stonecrest Industrial Way, Pepsi building is sitting right here this way. Home Depot building is sitting right here. Swift Creek is, our property goes on the other side of Swift Creek where the north sign is. That's undisturbed. Let me scroll down. So you have one building up here, buffer with stream buffers, and you have the utility power line buffer. So we're well inside of all of that. Then further in, railroad tracks, CSX rail, another building here, and then building in the middle. This will become a parcel, that will become a parcel, and that will become a parcel. Right now, it's all just one 205-acre piece of property. We're going to turn it into 3 different parcels that total the same acreage. That's all that we're doing. So we're bordered by creek, power lines, railroad, and industrial, basically on every side of it. The property is bordered by creeks, utility power lines, a rail line, and then 2 industrial buildings on the other side. Residential homes to the west of it. All the buffers are set, and I don't recall what it is, but we had to increase it during the process, and we did everything that was asked of us. I think the city actually increased the buffer during the process, and I think we increased it beyond that.
How you doing? I'm Montoya Turner. I also live on, excuse me, I live on Gates Court, and I'm next door to her. And so even though you said, you met with the public heard about this 2 years ago, I can guarantee you a significant amount of the population, the public, that was completely unaware. I'm only aware now because a postcard came in the mail announcing this meeting. As far as I knew, it was something brand new. And I think there's others here who also, I had that same card. So this is our first of hearing of it. So when you say it's approved, you already went through the process, we should know. We don't know. And the other part is too, it is, like I said, it's zoned, well, I guess it used to be zoned for light industrial, but now it is a question of how close and how much impact and noise. Because then you're telling me lights on 24 hours a day. Are these, if they're distribution centers, they're open for business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? How much truck parking is there? Are the trucks allowed to stay overnight? Is it going to be a data center? So what do we actually know? We need to know as a community who lives right next door to that. And there's just been numerous times when developers have done stuff to change the landscape, the environment. It could be rodents. Like I said, it can be things regarding emissions. All of that is a big deal. Our ecosystem is going to be completely changed, especially when you say part of the property crosses Swift Creek, which tells me it's extremely close to where we actually reside at. Swift Creek is literally, you can walk out our door, cut in the woods, and we can walk down to it.
So the original property was zoned M2, which was for manufacturing. So as part of the process, we brought it down to light industrial, which is a lesser aggressive use. I don't know where everybody lived, but we would have gone through the full public notification process. We set up community meeting. We met with neighborhoods. We met with everybody at the time. This was not a 2-week deal. This was over the course of 12 months. So again, we're here to request a subdivision plat for a property that was entitled, I think almost 2.5 years ago now. So I would just assume that people know what's happening in their backyard, but I guess that's not the case. You can obviously go and look at the zoning of it, and you can go do the research and find the information that's approved through the city of Stonecrest. But we're not here to request. Yes, ma'am. Sure. We have done everything that we are required to do, whether you were required to be notified or not. I'm not sure of the exact rules, but we have done every step of the way that we've been required to do as part of this process over the course of the last few years.
Respectfully, we're gonna find the conditions for you, and there are certain things that, based on the conditions that we
It might show on you.
have that are going to be allowed and not permitted on this property as far as, the buildings are concerned. So we're gonna find those conditions for you. Unfortunately, as our applicants, again, I will state what the CPIM process is. Again, it's a one-on-one with the applicant. The next meeting is December 18th, and that is for mayor and city council to give the final approval. Hopefully, by then, our applicant is well prepared to answer these questions that have been graced upon him today. So he will be prepared to answer not only these questions and any additional questions that you may have. So again, as we look for those conditions, Mr. Turner, did you have additional question?
No, the only thing I would just say is.
Oh, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. My apologies for interrupting you. Again, our process is to send notices within 1,000 feet of the property. And again, that's a courtesy of part of the public hearing process. So the city of Stonecrest did mail those before. We do apologize if you did not receive those postcards of the notification of these meetings before, but it is our practice to send within 1,000 feet those blue postcards to let our residents, whether they're in unincorporated DeKalb or the city of Stonecrest, a notification of any rezoning processes that we have in the city of
Yeah,
Stonecrest.
absolutely. And with the card, just so you know, I got the card yesterday. And so with that card, we have an active community organization. So I immediately called them and they started calling everyone else. So it's not like we would have got a card or a couple of cards and not
Yes,
said
sir.
anything. So like I said, for far as we're concerned, if this is out our backyard and we're literally just finding out and it's already approved, there is a complete breakdown for us. If someone's going to build a facility that's going to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that you could almost see to it, that would be very concerning for any homeowner. So, like I said, I understand it's approved, but it's extremely concerning for us.
Understood.
Yeah.
And who will be very much prepared the next meeting to give you a little bit more background on the project. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Could you state your name, please?
Understand that a regional impact study was done, you said 2 years ago? 2 years ago? Is it possible, since it has been in operation, right, for the last 2 years? Is it still too late to require or to ask or have some type of environmental impact study done? Because that's my concern with residents living, a rock's throw away from where you're going to be operating. And with you actually letting us know that you are not aware or cannot tell us what will be operating or how diesel trucks and emissions or whatever the capacity might be on any given day, that's alarming that there's no specificity in that space. And then also that you've been allowed through whatever regional impact study to move forward without there being any type of environmental impact conversation at all when there's residents that live, arm's distance away?
We're gonna go back again, and I'm pretty sure an assessment was done environmentally, but I will review again the development of regional impact to make sure that those were not listed as conditions. Because again, warrant that the review for the DRI was done.
Years back,
Yes.
right? But
So
the
they were
thing is,
looking at what-
now there might be even more information since everything has been in operation for the
And we
last 2
did,
years.
and I think this year,
It'd
we
be
did.
hard to kind of predict, but now
Right.
it's not a prediction.
Right.
It's more
And,
of a-
and we did reach out to, the Atlanta Regional Commission to make sure that
Mhm.
this applicant did not have to resubmit and go through the, DRI process again. And, based on their information, if there were not any changes, there weren't any changes from the previous submittal, that they did not warrant an additional, DRI, review.
With-
But there was
yeah.
some updated reviews, so we will have those comments for you.
And the
as well.
city, there's no way that the city could ask for that or request it, not necessarily require it, but just in good faith, ask for what the environmental impact may be. Because with you not knowing what and who or how that movement or the volume of activity will be, wouldn't it be a movement of good faith just for the residents that are going to be affected clearly by this, for you to be able to give us some information about environment or how they're going to be
So-
affected, just in terms of having their kids run in the yard and having to smell fumes at any given time?
Yeah, so when we went through this process a couple of years ago, we used the city of Beaufort as an example. City of Beaufort public schools are one of the nicest, more prolific football programs and school systems in the state. And we have partnered with the city of Beaufort, and we have sorry, keep moving this. We show an example that we have fully integrated industrial park, residential, and the public high school, all on the same block. They have no issues with traffic. They have no issues with strain on public services. As far as whatever environmental study you're asking for, we do environmental studies on the property. I don't believe there is a proposed environmental diesel fuel study that is done, but we follow
About air quality, just air.
we follow every requirement that we're required to do
Right.
in every
That's why
municipality.
my question for the city was, being the fact that you did follow every requirement, is it possible for them to request, or for the city to have their own requirements or an additional requirement in this case? Because I'm not arguing that you met every requirement
Sure.
the ARC put you through, but I'm asking, as now that the city has some type of say and they've actually contacted the residents and the residents are still concerned, you haven't alleviated anybody's concern or
The
anxiety.
residents were contacted when we went through the official
But
process
you can hear
previously.
now that
Again,
so
sure.
it's just a shrugging of the shoulders. That's not good faith.
The city of Stonecrest is the one that sends out the notifications, not the developer.
Right. So now that the city of Stonecrest recognizes that there's an issue here,
And we hear you.
okay, and that's all I'm asking.
We
Okay,
hear you.
Okay.
Okay, is there any other that would like to speak in for or against? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Radden, and I live on the other side of Swift Creek. And even at that rate, we can hear the Home Depot and the Pepsi all night long. It's 24/7. And sometimes when they're whatever they're doing, we hear big booms, and things have actually shaken a mirror off of our wall, and it fell and broke because of whatever development is going on there. So my concern is, again, how sufficient is this buffer? Because if we already hear Home Depot, which is going to be further away, I'm concerned about what we're going to have to deal with now and how that affects our property values.
What was the question?
Is the buffer going to be significant enough? Because we already hear Home Depot, which is farther away than your proposal. So if we hear that from that distance, what is going to be from this distance?
The buffer, whatever the buffer requirements were, and we'll have them for the next meeting, they were over and above whatever the minimum requirement was for
And
the
they
city of
should be,
Stone.
and they should be, because you probably don't live there.
Correct, I do not.
And we always get the dump in our neighborhoods, and I'm just concerned what else is going to be dumped on us. And a lot of us are elderly people, we're retired, we have respiratory problems, all of that, for not to have had an impact study on how it's going to affect us as far as how we breathe. That's a shame if that wasn't done. But because you don't live there, what the heck?
I'm sorry, if I could, we found some conditions for the property from the initial approval that was granted by DeKalb County government. One of the buffers is a minimum of 250 feet. So there are two buffers that was placed on this project at the initial approval of DeKalb County. And both are undisturbed. One is 250 feet. And the other one is a minimum of 50 feet along the railroad. So the 250 feet buffer is stating that it's located in and along the presently developed Deshaun Estates, which abuts the property. This was the initial approval of the rezoning of the land. That 250 feet. It didn't change. It's an undisturbed buffer, meaning nothing can encroach within it, no work can occur within it, no disturbance.
Do we have any additional questions for this request? Thank you so much. This project will be heard again on December the 18th. Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you. Now for our next item on the agenda. We have petition SLUP 25-006, Aisha Rashad. The location is 5940 Farrington Road. The request is for a special land use permit to operate their alcohol package store. Sorry.
Good evening. Can I use this mic or this? Light is on. All right, well, good evening, everybody. My name is, can you all hear me okay? My name is Hakeem Hilliard. I'm with Phillips Grubman Law Firm. I'm a land use attorney. I'm here this evening on behalf of the applicant, Barrington Liquor LLC. Okay. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Barrington Liquor LLC. I am with Shillervis Grubman Law Firm. This is an application for a use permit to operate a liquor store, liquor, beer, and wine at 5940 Barrington Road. This location is the location of a previous liquor store that operated in exactly the same space. I like to think my grandmother says I should have been a singer, but I don't know. It's rose-colored lenses. So this is this location where we're proposing to operate this this liquor store is the location of a previous store. It closed in 2024. I understand. I don't know what the circumstances were that the previous operator left, but because this is a new operator, we're required to obtain our own special use permit. We believe that this location is appropriate for several reasons. It's located in the existing strip shopping center at Farrington Road. There's other commercial spaces there. Would be adding another regulated business to this space because you know selling liquor, beer, and wine requires that you operate specific subject to certain regulations. You have to purchase alcohol through distributors. You have to have certain conditions in place. The other issue about this location is that the one thing that's a little bit different from the previous location is they're rearranging the interior space to be able to add more floor area so that there'd be a larger diversity of liquor products that are available. And for your purposes, why that's relevant is that some of us are concerned about liquor stores because of our experience, because we see that there's stores where people loiter unlawfully in front of the stores, or they're doing other things that might promote the activity that we all discourage. In this location, they're not going to be selling cups of ice or any individual beer or liquor or wine that would otherwise encourage people to come and drink alcohol around the space. In fact, it's unlawful to do so. And so they're very strict about making sure that that will not occur. With the diversity of options of liquor products, we believe this is going to be more of a destination location rather than some places where people will come and buy something and drink something outside of the store. So we're excited about that, the investment that's being made. Again, it's going into an existing space that has been there for some period of time. Based on our review, there's not a record of violations or citations at that location associated with that business. There's another, I think, a restaurant in that plaza as well. So we believe that having this business there will be a benefit, not just to this space, but an amenity for the community. The other reason we think it's going to be important, and when you think about liquor stores where they're selling a diversity of products and it's in a larger space, there's a great deal of inventory at that space. So there's, at any given time, there's a significant amount of product in that place that has to be regulated and maintained and secured. And so there's going to be security with lighting and activity and all these things that we would ordinarily be concerned about in a location like this. Has all been accounted for. There's going to be cameras, and they'll be able to monitor the products at all time and make sure that it's, for anybody that comes, it's going to be a safe experience. I'll go a little bit through my presentation if I can figure out how to change the page here. Oh, okay. My name is Hakeem Hilliard. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Okay. Down. I think I'm talking about most of the things that are on our presentation. All these technical issues here. My fault. It's my fault. Okay. So if you see what our presentation is here. Oh. Okay, I got it. The microphone. Okay.
Guys, so it could be intimidating, but it's okay. Bear with. Let me turn this up so you won't.
Okay, so again, Hakeem Hilliard on behalf of the applicant. I'm talking about all the things that we're already going to do here. I wanted to make sure you all are clear that this is an existing location. We're putting a new operator in there, and the reason we have to do that and get a use permit, because I think the use permit is going to travel with the operator. Otherwise, I think in some jurisdictions, if you have an existing use permit, you can move in because it's already obtained a use permit, but because it's a new operator, we have to show that we can meet the requirements independently. And I'm going to scroll down here. Oh, that works. So I've kind of communicated this. The site was previously operated as a licensed package store. It's going to continue under a new lease agreement for the property. The ensures that the property remains active and productive. We think that because of the activity that it's going to generate and the businesses on the property already, that this will be a benefit to this area and the community. And hopefully you all will share this view. And let me just say, again, preliminarily, this is our first communication with the community. We've spent some time putting together the application and getting it into the staff. We did engage with the council member for the district via email, asking for a meeting. We haven't had an opportunity to do that yet. And so any questions that you have or you think they're unanswered, we're happy to meet with you and talk to you about it and make sure all your concerns are addressed. We try to anticipate the issues that come up. I represent gas stations and convenience stores and liquor stores and developers all over the state. And so I'm very aware of the issues that arise, and I can talk to the client, and they all have already anticipated the operational concerns, and they're addressing them and how they're going to function. Let me go down a little further. This is the interior floor plan for the space. It's approximately 1,840 square feet. It's designed, it's not readily apparent from the layout for your purposes, but the way these stores are laid out on the inside is where it allows the employees that are working to see all areas of the space at all times to make sure that patrons are moving through successfully, that their questions are being answered, and that nobody's staying there longer than they're supposed to. If you're familiar with alcohol regulations in the local law and the state, there are rules against loitering. There's rules against drinking in public. And one of the problems that occurs, and I think I described at locations where there are issues, there's some stores that encourage people to do things that are not permitted by selling cups of ice or selling single cigarettes or doing other things that would encourage people to hang around. That's not that's going to happen at this location. This layout is a little different than the previous location so that they can have some more floor area for additional products, and that's what I was just talking about a little earlier. Again, one of the benefits we see of having this sort of business here is it's highly regulated by with the city of Stonecrest and by the state of Georgia. They do regular compliance checks at the state level to make sure that everything is being done in accordance with the law. And so all the regulations applicable to alcohol regulations are going to be enforced and applied and complied with. In terms of how do we ensure that alcohol is not going to be sold to minors, many of you all probably aware of the point of sale registers that require you to put in birth dates when people go in there to purchase alcohol. They have to prove their age before they can make a purchase. The adherence to operating hours, which we plan to discuss with the community about what's appropriate in that regard. Safe and clean retail environment, staff training on responsible alcohol sales. You all may know that there are organizations that work to periodically train employees about how to responsibly operate these types of businesses, and this business is going to have regular training. I think they said that they were going to do it quarterly, even though most businesses do it much less than that. But because of the size of the operation and the quality of what they want to do on this property, they're going to make sure the staff is fully trained. And so that's really what it is. We want to ask any questions you have about the use or any concerns or how we might be able to address them with conditions related to the operation. Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I'm very familiar with this location. And you're talking about right there next to that used to be gas station, right?
It's
Oh, right next to gas. Well, there used to be a gas station. Now it's just a little convenience store.
On the separate property. It's not in this plaza.
Separate property.
Yes, yes.
So that's what you're talking about. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I have to be kind of honest. And do you guys have the same owner of the property he sold or what?
I don't know if the property owner is the same, but the tenant is different. This is a completely different operator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have to be very honest with you. In spirit of fairness, we always say that when we get ready to say something. I have a small security company, a private investigation company with security, okay? So we're very familiar with that location and that previous owner. And previous owner hired us on a temporary basis because he was having a problem with people coming on the property and doing what you say. He was very, very adamant about not letting people hang around, not letting people be outside. They couldn't be there. That's why he hired my people, because we kind of a little bit, we don't do stuff like that, but we did do it for him. And the bar next door, there's a bar next door. Are you guys going to be controlling that?
We don't control it, but we've had a lot of conversations about that. And it sounds like you have some experience that we need to kind of pull from on that issue.
We don't do security. We only do high impact security. So, unless somebody threatened to kill you, we can't help you. Okay. No, I'm serious. Unless somebody threatened to kill you or your child missing internationally, we ain't got no time.
Well, with
Okay.
the issue you brought about the restaurant, we've had a lot of conversations about that because they operate differently.
Right.
And so the business is taking all of those issues into account. We spent hours talking about how that's going to function in a way that it doesn't interfere with what's happening.
No, I just said that to let you know that I knew about the previous owner and how strict and how he just didn't want nobody hanging out there. You got your stuff, you left, and then plus all the businesses around. He didn't want people hanging out, because you're talking about you're in the corner, if I remember correctly. The liquor store is in the corner right here. Then it's a walkway that goes back to other businesses. So are you going to be very strict about not letting people hang out front, even if they're, are you going to have the regular type of security there to make sure that people don't hang out front?
Absolutely. And the largest, they want to do good business and they want to have customers that want to come in and purchase a product, and they can't have that happen besides the fact that it's unlawful. But I think it sounds like you have some very specific information that we need to get so that we can incorporate that.
Just to be honest, the crime stats there were very, very, very low. And he had, I think, one or two problems. I knew him personally, so that's why all of this jumped up. So I just want to make sure that you're not going to turn this into something that's going to be a lot of, where people can hang out and, in cars and stuff like that, because these are the things that concern us. Because my thing is when people gather in cars, a lot of times they trying to think of what they're going to do off the property. So that's one of my concerns. But you say you're not going to have any control over the bar.
Well, it's a different operated business that has a separate lease. But we want the information you have about that so we can incorporate that in our plan.
But he was straight up. He was, I have to say that if you're going to run it like he ran it, then I don't have a problem with it, because I felt safe going in and out of there any time of the day or night. I just, if I wanted to stop and, because he sold lottery tickets. So if I wanted to buy a lottery ticket or a soda, or even, he had snacks there. So that was it. And then my last question, I have to ask you this. You any kin to Ace or?
My father.
Yeah. Ace and
I try to bring her to meetings, but she doesn't always want to come. That's my secret weapon. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Glenda Jordan.
Good evening.
Enough of these liquor stores and
Ms. Glenda, please speak in the mic.
I've had enough of these liquor stores in our community. I mean, these immigrants, all they do is bring liquor stores and gas stations. That's it. So if the owner of the building, the original occupant has left, I hope he doesn't get anybody else in there, because I'm sick of these liquor stores everywhere. As a matter of fact, there's a liquor store maybe within a mile right there at Panola and Farrington, and now, no, I've had enough of it.
I don't necessarily disagree with you about that, but I think the city and the state have regulations to make sure that there's not a proliferation of stores. This one is allowed, we believe, because the previous one existed and doesn't have to meet the distance requirements, but there are distance requirements that restrict. So I do agree with you, but I think this is a little unique situation because they're moving into a space where one existed just a few months before this tenant moved in. So we think it's a little bit of a unique situation, and it really would harm the property owner who's developed the property and maintained it in the way that he has and built this space out for that purpose, to say, we're not going to let the same type of business that go in there again, particularly since the evidence is that previous business operated in a way that was not a detriment to the community. But I don't want to say, I respect your comment. I understand that under most circumstances, that is appropriate, and you don't want to have too many liquor stores or too many of anything anywhere. So I
He brought up, right, he brought up a point that I forgot to ask you. Does this person that's planning to open this store, do they have any other businesses in Stonecrest?
No,
Okay, so they don't control anything like at Klondike and Mall Parkway, or down on Klondike and Browns Mill. So they don't have any other businesses here.
not the applicant for this store, no.
Okay. Because I'm like her, you know, we got too many.
I understand, and that's our intention. And I'll say this, and I don't know that you all meant to disparage anybody in that way, but I consider myself an immigrant myself, so I don't think the immigrant status means that you're going to be a bad operator. I was born in West Africa. I'm an immigrant.
Do we have any more additional comments, questions?
Yes, sir.
Turn.
Hey, yes, just one quick question. Presentation is, your oratory skills are good. Is there some reason why the person who wants this business is going to operate is not present and is not speaking directly to us?
Well, so the way I ordinarily handle this is the information meeting where we start to understand what the questions and comments are. And between now and the planning commission and the board and the city council, we hope to be able to sit with folks that have some very specific concerns so we can address them and not just give you lip service. So this is our opportunity to let you know, here we are, and I'll bring my client to every meeting that we have, and we're happy to talk to you now. I definitely want to hear what the things you were doing that made that business not be a problem, so we can put it on our list, and we're happy to hear from you. It's no disrespect. This is what I do all day, all around the state, and so I'm the talking head, but they'll be there, and I'm talking to them every day. They're more aggressive about making sure that every T is crossed and every I is dotted than I am. They're very engaged in this process. So I want to make sure you understand that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Now moving to our next item on the agenda.
Thank you.
V25-014, Joy Greer. The location is 6900 Rockland Road. The request is for a variance from section 5.4.7, walls, fences, and retaining walls to install an 8-foot fence on the property.
Good evening. How are you all? My name is Joy Greer. Thank you for your time. As stated, I'm at 6900 Rockland Road, and I did a variance to try to put a 8-foot, let me just stop for a second. My admin did this for me and she misunderstood the assignment. So you don't have to read anything. I'm gonna talk through it, but I wanted to use the pictures just as a point of reference. So this is my house at 6900. Let me go now. So currently right now, there's a 4-foot chain link fence. We sit at the corner of Rockland Road and Plunkett. And currently, if you notice in front of the fence, you may not be able to notice, but in front of the fence, that is an old county road. And the problem that I'm having is that people's GPS apparently is, when they're trying to get wherever they're going, it turns them down that road. So instead of them going to the stop sign on Plunkett to turn on Rockland, or coming down Rockland, going to the stop sign to turn on Plunkett, they are actually coming behind the parcel that you see in front of my property. The parcel that you see that's wooded, that's the parcel that actually runs on Rockland Road. I sit behind that parcel. So I moved in, I purchased the property in July, and the problem that I'm having is that I'm getting a lot of walkers. I don't know if they're coming from the townhomes down on Rockland, but what they're doing is they're cutting through this old county road. They don't know that this is an old county road because you have to know it to know it. But they're coming in front of my property to get to Rockland Road, which poses a big security issue for me because I'm 45 years old, I'm single, I live by myself, I'm already behind a wooded parcel, and now I'm having just random individuals that are just either walking or riding a bike. I have found out that a lot of them are passing me to go down Plunkett, to Klondike to go to the new plaza that have the smoke shop, the convenience store. And so it's just very alarming. Just recently, I had 2 incidents. There was a group of older guys that were looking for a lake. And so the GPS brought them that way, which is in front of my house. And it wasn't until they got to my house that they realized that the GPS had taken them into the wrong direction. There's 2 ditches on the side of the driveway. There are 2 driveways that come onto my property. There's one coming off of Plunkett, if you turn off of Plunkett, coming down that old county road, you can come onto my property, or you can use my original, well, I'm not gonna say original, but the last owner opened another driveway off of Rockland. When they're coming in off of Plunkett, there is a ditch coming to my house. And if the county or city don't come in and do the landscaping in a timely manner, you don't notice that it's a ditch. So when they turned in, that once they realized they were on the wrong road, everybody truck was stuck in the ditch, which left me stuck in my house. I have unsolicited visitors coming, stated that they're selling something. Recently, I had a guy come, said that he was from Xfinity. I had to go and get a weapon in order for him to leave my property. He had no tag on, no type of way to identify himself, but he was very persistent. And I had to tell him bye, I know, at least 10 times. So it wasn't until I went and got some help that he went ahead and left the property. So what I'm trying to do, what I'm asking is that is one of the other ditches on the other side. What I'm asking is that you all would allow me to put up a 8-foot privacy fence. That way I can kind of block off all of that in front of me and just only use the Rockland entrance. Kind of out of sight, out of mind. I'm having cars that come through there playing loud music. To me, it's just really a disregard, because you have to know that that is a county road to know that it's a county road. They've just decided that they're going to go in and out of that way to get on to access either Plunkett or Rockland Road. Like I said, currently it's a 4-foot fence now, but I want to put up a privacy fence so that way I don't have to worry about people trying to look into our home. If you notice, I have open windows, and I should be able to have what I want to have at my home and not have to deal with, pedestrians walking and deciding that they want to just, they're very inquisitive when they come. And so that does startle me. I'm going to be honest with you. And it has really posed a safety issue. I'm already behind a parcel. So you have to know that I'm back there to know that I'm back there. But because it's wintertime, we're going into the winter season, the leaves are falling off the trees. So now if you pass by, you could kind of see back there, but otherwise you can't see. When I had my meeting with the zoning board, they made a couple of recommendations, and I explained to them that I've kind of already did that. I went ahead and I planted some 3-foot Leland cypress trees, but if you know anything about cypress trees, it's gonna take a few years before they will mature and I get the privacy that I need. So just asking that you all would support me in doing that. I don't think that what we're doing will take away from the integrity of the neighborhood. I've also written down Plunkett, and I noticed that a few people have done it. So I don't know if that's the thing. I don't know if they got permission. I don't know if they just decided to do it. But with us having so many walkers now, it definitely creates more of a safety feature for me. Are there any questions? I have 6 acres, so my closest neighbor driveway is right there, but we're very much divided. Yes, and so if you look at, I know it's kind of hard to see, but the initial pictures that you saw was the fence coming off of Plunkett. This fence right here stops. It ends on Rockland Road at the driveway that I'm actually using on Rockland Road. So the fence that we're going to put up is not going to, it's just going to be exactly where this fence already is, we're just going higher and we're changing from chain link to privacy. But we're actually gonna put up a gate, but we're not doing anything as far as covering the driveway with the 8-foot privacy fence. We're just coming behind what's already there and just going higher. That's all. Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next item on the agenda, all right, is V 25-1015, the city of Stonecrest, 5106 Klondike Road. The request is for a stream buffer variance for the Everett Park Kayak Launch Project.
You might need the hand mic.
Hi everyone, my name is Alif Takhar and I'm a project engineer for Cpim, and we are the design engineer for this project, and the applicant is City of Stonecrest. So this is basically the sequence of my presentation: project background, project overview, scope of work, field investigation, site, and permitting. Okay. So as I said, the applicant or the owner is City of Stonecrest. Is basically the address is 5105 Klondike Road, Stonecrest, Georgia, and the stakeholder is South River Watershed Alliance. And the main purpose of this project is basically a recreational project and building a recreational facility off of a Klondike Road to give up access for a kayak launch to the South River. And client is a city as well, and we are a design engineer, corporate environmental risk management. This is basically the DeKalb County map, and this is a Stonecrest, and the project is located at this point where this is like showing. This is basically the project overview. If you can see here, if you can see my cursor, this is a Klondike Road, and this is basically the parking lot. And this parking lot is built between a 25 and a 75 feet undisturbed buffer. And this is a kayak launch that basically going directly to the South River. We don't have any other option to build this parking lot other than encroaching this 75-foot buffer, because we need to build something close to the South River. But we are basically making sure this project is sustainable, and we are make sure it's a green infrastructure. We are providing a permeable pavers, bioswale, and basically it's serving their purpose. So like holding up the runoff and basically infiltrate the soil and making sure no sediments and the pollutant going into the South River by providing a permeable pavers and the bioswale. And this is basically the Google Earth imagery showing the South River, and this is basically the area where we're gonna build this parking lot. And this is like a concept plan and the existing survey we do. It's already basically a sediment or the boulder rock parking there, but it's not like a paved, or we are providing a proper parking, designing a parking. This is basically the existing condition right now. And this is a site plan. This is basically the total area we are encroaching between a 25 and a 75-foot buffer. And this is basically the plan for the kayak launch. That basically this area is going to be basically in the South River. This is all elevated, and this is going to be area where it's going to tie into the parking lot. So residents or the people can have an access to the area through this ramp and go to the floating kayak and go to the river. This is basically the field investigation. We do wetland delineation, field survey, and all like a geotechnical exploration to make sure the site is sustainable and buildable. This is basically the rested vegetation line, and this is basically our project where exactly we are going to build. We already have all the permissions and the permits from the US Army Corps and the state. Now we have we are requesting for this 75-foot stream buffer variance, and then we can go for a LDP to get the land disturbance permit to build this facility for the residents of City of Stonecrest. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Are there any additional questions, comments, feedback? Well, thank you. The applicant for rezoning for petition number RZ 25006 and RZ 25007, Ramada Sissoko Sis is, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. She is actually in attendance and would like to present. This was the case in the beginning where the applicant was not here, and we did state that this case would be deferred because of the missed community plan and information meeting. However, the applicant has requested that she present tonight, and we have allowed her to present. However, again, this will be heard again at our next community planning information meeting and for the January Planning Commission and Mayor and City Council meetings in all transparency.
Good evening. I'm very sorry that the timing was kind of off because I thought it was 6:30 instead of 6. And then the email that I received when the message was sent was a group email. So I know the first emails were addressed to somebody. And then when they replied, it was so many emails coming in, I missed all the requirements. So I don't have a PowerPoint, but I can probably present briefly. My name is Dr. Ramada Sise. I am a resident of Lithonia for about 20 years, but I moved to Athens for work. So if you know our hair salon, we had a braiding shop in Lithonia since 1999, so about 26 years ago, 1,007 braids and styles. Our corporation is Afromania. So we are the first African hair braiding salon in DeKalb County, and we serve thousands, and I'm sure thousands of young people and older people. We have 3 properties adjacent. I don't know if I can use the mouse here. Do you have a, okay, maybe here. Let's see here. All right. Okay, this property is on Church Road on Covington Highway next to Evansville, this one right here, right? So the hair salon that we have right now, the hair braiding salon, we have a lot of requests from people who wanted to, for example, learn about hair braiding or African culture, African history, African art. I'm a full-time faculty professor at Georgia Gwinnett College. So I teach anatomy and physiology to pre-nursing students. And I do a lot of African community services. I'm the president of the Malian Women from Africa in the state of Georgia. So our goal is to be able to promote the African culture in America, specifically in Stonecrest. So our hope is to develop this, to use these properties that are zoned residential right now, to do commercial businesses in African culture. We wanted to open what I do right now, which is to do services, consulting services for people who want to visit Africa. We want to do things with African culture. So we actually wanted to open an African center where people can come buy African clothing, African food, African culture, stuff like that. So since we have the hair salon already, the property behind this one on Chap Road is actually adjacent to the property we have here, which is a hair salon. So we're just asking the community support to be able to do that, to create probably jobs in the city, to promote the culture, to invite our African-American brothers and sisters to discover their history through our presence in the city of Stonecrest. So that's basically the idea. We're doing this already at the salon already, but we just want to expand the business at this second property and the next one that I'll be presenting. because we got two different properties adjacent that we're gonna do business. One will be office, the other one will be a store.
Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Cisse?
Hey, I just wanted to quick let you know, my name is Montoya Turner. There was a gentleman here earlier who resides on Chup Road. He said he came to a couple of meetings where you weren't present. So he assumed you weren't present today. So he voiced his opposition of it. He gave an address on Chup Road. So I'm clear you may not have known the exact time. But again, I think it's important that you figure out or know whatever that next time is for that meeting is, because I got a feeling he's gonna be here. But he was very disturbed the fact that he came to several meetings without you being present.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, you're right. Because last time, since we don't live here, I live in Athens now. But like she said, last time I missed it because we had a death in the family. So we couldn't make it. This is my husband right here. We couldn't come. But today when we came, like I said, I thought it was 6:30 because I had to receive a lot of email. But I'm very happy to meet people. And you know what? It's very important for me to know. Okay. I'm gonna be happy to come back. Like they said, I'll come back to the next meeting and present this with no problem. Thank you for telling me. It's good. I mean, we need to know what people think, obviously. We're doing it for people. They have to like it. They have to enjoy it. So I don't mind having them. Thank you. Mhm.
Dr.
For
Cisse, thank you.
clarification. Hello? The property, which one will be the office? I'm sorry, which property will be the office?
The 6760 Chap Road, this one on the backside.
Okay.
Mhm.
the other one will
But this one is kind of more to the residential area. Mhm.
Are there any additional questions, comments? Again, Dr. Cisse, we're gonna defer this until the next community planning information meeting.
Okay.
And that will be in December. And the actual hearings will be in January. That address where the gentleman did attend the meeting, just for your records, was 6722 Chup Road.
6722?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's a different address.
Okay.
Yeah, this address is 6760 Chap Road.
Yes, that was the one who attended the meeting.
Or
earlier.
6722.
Chup Road. That's just for your records. That's who attended, and that was his address.
Oh, okay, his address.
Yes.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Thank you
Mhm.
so much.
No problem. Mhm.
Thank you all for coming out to our community information planning meeting. The next meeting for these applicants will be the planning commission meeting on December the 2nd. The mayor and city council, December the 12th, 2025, and zoning board of appeals, December 16th, 2025. We hope to see you all at the next scheduled